cost. Mr. President, two things we must do. Number one is we need to even regulate the number of parties we are registering every day. Mr. President, today our ballot is as long as 7 inches. So, Mr. President, if we want to do something, let us collapse this election into one single election. Number three, Mr. President, my fear is, Mr. President, I have always said on the floor of this Senate, I hate hypocrisy. Most of the people that are behind these things, telling the good people that are piloting it or are championing it, Mr. President, are hypocrites. And when the chips are down, they are going to back out, just like what we have seen. Mr. President, lastly, we have all witnessed what happened today. Mr. President, like I said in my last submission, the last time I spoke, my highest title today is Senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Anything that will strengthen this institution, I would want to do it, and I want to see everybody doing that. Mr. President, this exercise, or this is the time when this chamber needs all the cooperation. We need to come together. We need to be united. Mr. President, I said it the other day. I don't want us to finish the way we started. What we did when we started was unnecessary. And we are seeing the result today. When people that instigated that fire are now coming back to instigate another fire in another place. Mr. President, this bill is going to further divide us. It is unnecessary, and we should not go that line. Thank you, Mr. President.
Well, we'll just take a few, but let me assure Barfa that nothing will divide this Senate. We'll continue to work as one entity. I will go to aspire towards that. Dino. Everybody will speak.
My respected colleagues, Dino Melaye, Kogi West. Mr. President, I want to start by saying that I do not, while I concur with part of what my brother, my elder brother and friend, Senator Marafa said, I want to disagree with the fact that it is unconstitutional to create sequence. And in his submission, he also committed another blunder by suggesting that we all hold the election in one day. So that means that one is constitutional. So the truth of the matter is that we must understand that there is a difference between subordinate adjectival clause and subordinate adverbial clause. There's a difference between dates and sequence. These are two different issues. Why the Constitution empowers INEC only to fix dates of election, but the power for order and sequence of election is within the constitutional mandate of the National Assembly that ab initio even created the law, understand, that enacted INEC as an institution. If we have the powers to enact INEC as a constituted institution in this country, then we should also have powers to moderate our activities without tampering with dates. Having said that, Mr. President, I want to suggest, sir, that because the first reading of this bill, I know what I'm saying, sir, that because the first reading of this bill was done just yesterday, today to take the second reading will not be okay. Some of us believe in research. Some of us believe in research. Some of us believe in documentations. So I'm suggesting, Mr. President, I'm moving it, even as a motion, that we step down this bill. For further legislative days. You can take a second, Mr. Chairman.
Fabio.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. The President of the Senate, my distinguished colleagues, I want to say that when we initially did the first one that Mr. President sent back to us, I granted an interview that it was a step in the right direction. I believe strongly that the National Assembly, including the Senate, that we have the power to fix sequence of elections in the law, as opposed to dates. All the judgments so far have talked about dates. INEC has the right to fix dates for elections. But in terms of sequence of elections, I believe we can legislate on it. But my disagreement with this bill today, sir, is that we cannot approbate and reprobate. As the Senate, we are distinguished people. We can't speak with both sides of our mouth. The sequence as proposed here is such that not only has it taken us backwards, it shows that we look confused. And if we are confused, let's go back to the status quo. It is on that note, respectfully, sir, without joining issues with anybody, that I stand to oppose this bill. I so oppose.
Whip. Thank you very much, Mr. President, my dear colleagues. My name is Olushola Adeyeye from the Central Senatorial District of the state of Osun. And by the grace of this chamber, the Vice Chairman of the Senate Committee on INEC, and I rise to state categorically that I totally oppose this bill. And I do so for simple reason. For very simple reason. My dear brother and my dear chairman, Senator Nosif, regaled us with history of the past about sequence of election. But somehow, he conveniently forgot to tell us that each of that sequence, or those sequences, was fixed by the electoral body, not by an act of parliament. Because this is the spirit of the law. The spirit of the law is to give the electoral body total independence. We can talk about grammar, the difference between dates and sequence of dates. There cannot be sequence of dates unless there are dates. And if INEC is given the prerogative to choose dates, and INEC chooses to put one day before the other, please, let's leave things as they are. Fedoco chose their date. INEC in the past chose their date. And INEC in the 8th National Assembly must be given the respect again to choose their date. Anything else, in my opinion, is legislative rascality. Thank you very much. Mr. President, distinguished senators, my name is Senator Maruko Huabunwa Abia North. Mr. President, permit me first and foremost to correct, in as much as I, to a large extent, support my brother Prof, but not to be here and we take something that is not true. Except 1999, every other sequence is in line with the Electoral Act. The Electoral Acts are there for us to check. From 2003, excuse me, sir, I'm the one speaking. I am telling you from the House of Reps. From 2003, what I'm saying, these are things we can verify. But having said that, all I'm saying is that I want to say that it's good that we took away this from the General Electoral Body, because this one looked a little bit controversial, so that the other items in the Electoral Act can go seamlessly. Having also said that, sir, if you look at this dates, all I'm trying to say is that on this floor, sir, I'm not aware that we have changed the decision we took. We passed a resolution here, we passed the bill, and on the sequence, then it went to the president for assent. He returned that based on certain reasons. I thought that our discussion as far as sequence is concerned is based on that bill, not to bring a new bill. So I thought that all we needed to do was to relay with the House of Reps, like the leader was saying, so that we'll be in sync. Listen, I'm coming now. So what I'm saying is that procedurally, if somebody says procedure, what I'm saying is that this was not the sequence. We passed. This is not the sequence. Procedure is the same sequence. You can go through first, second reading, but this is a different sequence from what we passed. So all I'm saying is that this bill, as is removed from the main one, is in order, because it's a little controversial. As we consider the other sections of the Electoral Act, let's go back to the original bill and follow the normal procedure of either normal sequence of passing a bill. But if this one for me is completely a new, total new bill from what we have passed here, that is.
Adjournment.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. President, we have all spoken. And it is very clear, Mr. President, that we do not have the constitutional right to do what we are doing. Yes, that is my belief. Yes. We do not have the constitutional right to do what we are doing, and what we were voted for to come and do in this country, we are now living, to face irrelevancies. I see that what we are taking about this Electoral Act is irrelevant, to the development of this country. We have so many problems that is confronting this country. Boko Haram is there, herdsmen's killing is there, states cannot pay salaries, and yet we want to add more expenditure to the running of government. Everywhere in the world, people are looking at how to reduce the cost of governance. But in Nigeria, we want to increase the cost of governance. Please, Mr. President, let this bill die as it has come. Thank you very much.
Gumer.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I'm not going to repeat what my colleagues have said. But, my President, I wanted to talk on two items. The first one, if we go for gubernatorial election first, some state will not even vote for that, because the gubernatorial election has been scattered, been staggered. So in that wise, there is a tendency for some states who have no election to migrate into the state where there is election and cause confusion. Number two, Mr. President, if we did the gubernatorial first, any governor who doesn't want his senator to come back or House of Representatives to come back, because he is secured from his election, he will go for the jugular of that senator or House of Representative member. And Mr. President, the other one is the Electoral Act 2003, which Mao Hobunwa referred to, is my baby. In the House of Representatives, I corrected it. And I suggested that time, because of perceived witch hunting from Obasanjo, we wanted to do that election, all the election in one day. And Obasanjo went to court and stopped us. And the court said it's not our responsibility, it's the responsibility of the INEC. So, Mr. President, I'm opposing this. I'm opposing this in totality, and it's ultra-virus to the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Okay, we will continue with a few people who still want to talk, but let me just provide some direction so that we don't misunderstand ourselves. As has been said, I think there is need for all of us to be in synergy with each and every one of us, because essentially we are here to serve the interests of our people. If any person has an ulterior motive, I don't understand myself. So it is important as much as possible for us to be on the same page in matters such as this. Now, we passed the Electoral Act here, and then we sent it to the President. President returned that bill with a number of observations. Now, one of the observations he made was in respect of the order of the election. He also made observation regarding the issue of local government elections, which National Assembly was given powers under that bill, to make laws related thereto. I don't want to go into the legalities or otherwise of these issues. Now, but as it is, for those of you who are in that committee, the INEC committee, I'm sure you feel so sad given the number of clauses, the work you did related to other areas that has nothing to do with the sequence of election. In this assembly, some of us were witnesses to when we tried to do an amendment in 2005, wanted to do an amendment to the Constitution. A number of very noble provisions were made. Unfortunately, the issue of third term truncated everything. We lost all the effort we made. So in 2014, we also did another attempt at constitutional amendment. Again, for a few reasons relating to the separation of the office of the Attorney General with Minister of Justice, we lost all those efforts we made. So that was why in 2016-17 effort for constitutional amendment, we decided that each item would be a standalone bill, so that anyone that succeeding will succeed, the one will fail independent of the other. So what I think in the circumstance that President had made observation in respect of some aspect of that bill, he did not say that bill we passed was entirely useless. So in order to save those noble provisions in the Electoral Act, it is important that we remove all those areas the President had objected to and pass the remaining items as a separate bill and send it back to him. Then we can now deal with the issues where he has issues as a separate bill altogether. Then we either defeat it or we have it succeed. If he succeeds, we send it to the President, he decides what to do. If he brings it back, we also decide what to do. So I think the first thing we need to do now is to make sure that we clean up that first bill, so that we're able to save all those provisions that were already made in that elaborate bill, including the issue of primaries. So many issues we are involved, and those of you who are in the INEC committee will understand even more than I do. So if he pleases you, because we have two bills this afternoon regarding the Electoral Act. The second one is the one that's been cleaned up, removing all those areas the President was objecting, so that we can pass it quickly and send to the President. So I think in the second side, I just want to plead that probably the committee takes back this one while we go to the main one, and then finish with it and send it to the President so that we can make progress. Is that the wish of the Senate? Yes. Thank you. Senate Leader. Next bill. Yeah? We'll send it back to the committee, and let's also that can deal with the next one, the remaining one.
Yes, Mr. President, Mr. President, please, order, please. Mr. President, I just want to state my position. Mr. President, please. Mr. President, please, order, please. Mr. President, the debate on this bill has almost been concluded, Mr. President. No, please, excuse me. Mr. President, order, please. So what do we do? Because the debate has almost been concluded, I thought we were going to rule on the debate. Okay. Well, I think the ruling is the committee takes back
committee takes back, when do they return it? Never to be returned? Never to be returned. Oh, they return it. We're waiting for you. We're waiting for you, please. Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, I move that the debate on this bill be suspended and the committee takes back this bill. Mr. President, the committee takes back this bill and be considered another legislative day. Leader, go ahead. Go ahead now. Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, I move that we stand down the consideration of all other items on the order paper till another legislative day. Minority Leader.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I rise to second the motion that we suspend all other items of the order paper until another legislative day. I so second. I so second.
Those who want to prayer say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Senior Leader. Sorry. Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, having concluded today's proceedings on the order paper, I hereby move that the Senate do adjourn till tomorrow, Thursday, the 19th of April 2018 at 10 a.m. prompt. I so move.
Mr. President,
distinguished colleagues, those is okay. Dear colleagues, those in support of the motion that Senate do now adjourn to tomorrow, Thursday, the 19th of April 2014 at 10 a.m. say aye. Those against say nay. The Senate is accordingly adjourned.